Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a lovely day. So today what I want to talk about is the Department of Justice looking to ignore Google's proposed concessions, which may lead to an antitrust suit against them. This was reported by Bloomberg. It says the Justice Department is expected to file Google's suit in weeks, and Google has proposed spinning off part of its ad network. Now, there are organizations and people that have complained about the way that Google does business, and I imagine that some people in my comment section, just a few, may from time to time have an issue with how Google does business. To get you guys up to speed in this Department of Justice lawsuit, the complaint asserts the following, as well as other examples of Google's alleged anti-competitive behavior: entering into exclusionary agreements with third parties that prohibited those companies from advertising, distributing, promoting, buying, or using the products of Google's applications competitors; entering into exclusionary agreements with third parties that prevented those companies from providing services to Google's advertising services and competitors; and imposing restrictions on how ads and which ads would be supported for display, but not imposing the same restrictions on its own platforms. Now, one of the complaints that I've had, and I've been very, very vocal about over the past several years, is Google's anti-repair advertising discrimination. So Google, for their Pixel phones, announced a partnership with YouBreak-iFix, and it's really funny how this worked, because right around the time that happened, you couldn't use AdWords to advertise your repair services anymore. And the reason that Google gave for this is that it's way too difficult for them to tell which ones are scams and which ones are not scams. And it's very obvious that this is bullshit. As I went over in this video that I did 2 years ago, which I highly suggest you watch, it's only 8 minutes long, and there'll be a bunch of timestamps in the description of that video to make it really easy to listen to. They will allow you to pay for AdWords for penis enlargement pills and all different types of things to make your dick bigger, but you can't pay for an advertisement that says, I can fix the screen on your laptop. And again, the reason they say is it's just way too difficult for us to tell who is a scammer, which in my opinion demonstrates that they have absolutely no confidence in their Google Maps and Google Review platform. As you can see, I have over 1,300 5-star reviews on Google Maps, and I'm proud of these reviews. We earned these reviews over the past 13 years. The people who work at my store work their ass off every single day. They show up early, they stay late, they are dedicated to keeping customers happy, and it shows in our reviews. So if my store with these reviews is not enough for you to tell that I'm not a scam, when I am licensed by New York City, when I've been in business for over 10 years, when I have the best reviews in this platform, then how is it that you know that these random people advertising dick pills are not scams? It's obvious bullshit, and it's part of what the Department of Justice is going after them for. Now, what Google is doing here is they're saying that they will spin this off. It says Google has proposed splitting part of its business that auctions and places ads on websites and apps into a separate company that would remain under the Alphabet umbrella, according to a person familiar with the matter, who declined to be named discussing confidential matters. Now, someone said, what makes us think that this is going to make any substantive difference to how they're operating? Google and Alphabet are the same thing, said O'Kelly, who is now Chief Executive Officer of Scope 3, a software firm focused on emissions data and corporate supply chains. Dina, a former ad agency executive, has compared Google to a financial exchange that owns both sell and buy-side operations. In finance, these operations are often required to be run with a firewall of separation and distinct ownership. A Google proposal to place its unit under the same parent company with the same CEO without similar remedies wouldn't eliminate any of its monopoly advantages, according to Dina. It's an offer of basically nothing, she said, and I agree. Competitors and publishers have long complained that Google leverages parts of its vast network, like its ad exchange, to benefit other areas and kneecap rivals, and this is an area where I would agree. Now, Google does say, hey, you also have Facebook, you have Meta, you have other companies that have advertising, but at the end of the day, they're not a search engine. Google, at the end of the day, is pretty much a monopoly when it comes to a search engine. So again, Facebook, you can advertise on Facebook. They're not a search engine. Amazon, you can advertise on Amazon. But that's not a search engine. Google is a search engine, and Google has done this type of stuff when it comes to advertising that is just, again, you just go over this video that I did 2 years ago, tell me what you think. In my opinion, it's massive bullshit. They will allow advertisements for certain companies, and they will deal with certain industries differently once they have a financial interest in those particular industries, and then cut out other people from being able to use their platform in that particular way, which is just, in my opinion, kind of scummy behavior, kind of a shitty thing to do. So I look forward to seeing how this moves forward. One of the issues here is that antitrust enforcement has not had teeth for a very long time. If we don't use these muscles, they will weaken. We don't have the kind of ground rules that existed when antitrust was enforced with regularity, referring to the lack of monopolization cases over the past few decades, and I agree. So I do hope that the pendulum just kind of starts swinging in the other direction, where tech oligopolies and monopolies start to be a little bit more accountable to the general public. but I'm not holding my breath. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think we'll be in a world shortly where people like me will actually be able to use Google AdWords as a platform, where Google will not have a monopoly on this that they can use against users, where in a world where our authorities are not going to believe that Google's parent company with a CEO, the same CEO of Google, will totally be able to police itself? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now.